Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tune Project. Today we are continuing with our series on fiddle techniques. Last time we talked about the chop, and today we're going to be talking about the hammer-on, what it is, and how you can incorporate it into your playing. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to the Tune Project, I invite you to hit that red subscribe button below so you can be updated on all future videos. Now, if you were here for our first video in this series where we learned about flicks and turns, you might remember we talked about how the flick has a main note and then the note above it is what is the flick. So the finger above that main note is doing what we call the flick. Now, in the case of a hammer-on, it's kind of the opposite. We have our main note and we actually play the note before it as our hammer-on. And not only do we just play it, but we also emphasize it a little bit more than we would if we were to play a standard grace note. So the hammer-on is another grace note that's used often in the Scottish tradition, but it can also be used in other types of tunes as well. The example that I'm going to give you today is a Scottish tune, but just know that you can also incorporate it in any type of tune that you want to. So let's say I wanted to play a D. That's my main note. What we would do if we wanted to add a hammer-on is just simply add a C sharp before it, and it would sound like this. Alright, so unlike a grace note, you probably noticed that there's a little bit more emphasis happening on the note that comes before the main note, in this case the C sharp. And something that I like to do to give it even more power is add a little bit of emphasis not only with my left hand but with my bow as well. And this is something that you'll often hear with Scottish fiddle players. Hanneke Cassel is a great example of this. She is a phenomenal Scottish fiddle player. She kind of has a modern take on the Scottish tradition, so definitely go check her out. But I'm going to show you how you can include the hammer-on, or how you might hear it in the context of a tune. Alright, so it kind of adds a little bit more power to those certain places. It kind of adds a bit of a punch, which is very true to the style. So if I were to play that same melody with all of the other ornamentations except for the hammer-ons, this is how it would sound. So even though we place a little bit of emphasis on the previous note, you can still tell what the main note is. And that's the unique thing about this particular type of fiddle technique, is that you can still, you know where you're going with it, and you can tell that the previous note is leading into something else, almost kind of like a pickup if you were to think of it in terms of classical music or in a more rhythmic sense. So if you wanted to practice the hammer-on before putting it into your tunes, a way to do that would be to just simply play on the A string, just kind of going up an A major scale like this. And then maybe coming back down. And it's okay if you happen to hit another string like I just did, because that makes it even more gritty and kind of gives it that Scottish power that we're looking for. So yeah, by all means, definitely use your bow, use your left hand to add emphasis to the hammer-on, and I would love to hear what you come up with. If you're familiar with the hammer-on, leave a comment below with how you've used it in the past, what style you play, and how you've incorporated it into your tunes. And if not, please share with us how you plan on practicing this hammer-on in your playing. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed learning about the hammer-on in today's video, and I'll see you next week for another video in our Fiddle Techniques series. Happy practicing! If you'd like to further your support of the Tune Project, be sure to head over to patreon.com/thetune project for information on that. And if you're planning on buying any music or doing any shopping on Amazon, be sure to head over to the Tune Project website, which I linked in the description box of all of my videos. Click my Amazon banner, and whatever you purchase, a small percentage of that will go toward the Tune Project. This just keeps the Tune Project going and allows me to continue to create free content for you all.